Pittsburgh Steelers fans, what's going on? This is Jeff Hartman, editor of BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, with another episode of the Steelers Burning Question. It's a weekly podcast. It's just me and only me talking about nothing but something that might be on the mind of Steeler fans in case you're a first-time listener. We've already talked about things like Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl window. Is it opening? Is it still open or is it closing? We discussed those in past episodes. If you haven't seen those or listened to those, I'd recommend you go back and check those out. Today's burning question is a unique one. Obviously, if you pay attention to the NFL, you know that the New England Patriots, again, for the third straight season, are in the Super Bowl. It's discouraging. I think that everyone with any type of, I guess you could say, anyone with the right mindset would be able to say that, look, Tom Brady's amazing. I can't stand the guy. I hate Bill Belichick. But there's something about those two guys that, man, can they just turn it on when it matters the most? I mean, how long have we been hearing about the New England Patriots dynasty is dying? Tom Brady's legacy is slowly degrading. His play on the field is slipping. We've been hearing this for years. I mean, years. And what have we seen the last 3 years? They're in the Super Bowl. Okay, so let's first the Steeler fans. I think the ultimate reason why the Steeler fans hate the Patriots so much is not only do they win a ton, and not only do they have a lot of things go their way. For instance, they're in the crappiest division in the NFL, and which leads them to really good records and first round buys and home field advantage. They earn that though. I can't say that enough. Steeler fans can't really be angry at that because the Steelers, the biggest knock on the Steelers is what? That they've struggled to beat the bad teams. Patriots don't do that. We know that for a fact. They're in a bad division. They rarely ever lose to those teams outside of a trip to Miami every year. And so not only do they win, they're always there. There's the scandals that have gone on, the fact that they've, been a thorn in the Steelers' side for so many years now. You think about the AFC Championship defeats. You think about Tom Brady in 2001, slash Drew Bledsoe in that game. Just horrible. It's just been awful. It's not fun. It's not a rivalry if you think of a rivalry as being competitive because, let's be honest, I know the Steelers won this year, but that's a rarity. That's a rarity. But I think the one thing that sticks in the back of Steeler fans' minds, and a lot of people are very vocal about it, is that the Patriots are one win away from tying the Steelers in regards to the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history. Now, we all know the Steelers have 6, and the Patriots have 5, along with the 49ers and the Cowboys. And I know that they've been on the cusp before, and I'm talking about the Patriots, not the Steelers. And if they win this upcoming Super Bowl, then obviously we know that we can all do simple math. That means that they are tied with Pittsburgh. And so this leads me to the burning question today. The Steelers' burning question today is, let's say that the Patriots win. Heck, maybe they don't even have to win. Will the Patriots win 7 Super Bowls before the Steelers do? That's the question. Now, some of you might be listening to this or watching this and saying, boy, Jeff's off his rocker. How can he suggest this? Well, it's easy. The Steelers have not been in the Super Bowl the last 3 years. The Patriots have. The Steelers don't necessarily have the look of a team heading into the offseason that is going to be a perennial winner. And while the Patriots might not either, they've proven that they can win with almost anyone. Meanwhile, the last 3 to 4 years, the Pittsburgh Steelers have arguably the most talented roster in the NFL, at least offensively, and have done nothing with it. Squandered away opportunities. And I don't want to turn into Lance Williams here, my co-host on the Standard is a Standard, our Sunday show, and be very negative and downright depressing at times. This is reality. I'm speaking in factual terms. This is not my bias. This is not my commentary. These are facts. Okay? Now, the first thing before we answer the question of will the Patriots win 7 before the Steelers do, even when they're only at 5 right now, It all depends on the longevity of Tom Brady. And it also depends on the longevity of Ben Roethlisberger. These are two quarterbacks. Tom Brady is over 40. Roethlisberger is on the good side of 40. But when you get near the number 40 in the NFL, not a lot of people can thrive in that scenario. Brady is an outlier in that case, as he is playing extremely good football. He has changed his game slightly, and he's kind of reinvented himself later in his career. I think Roethlisberger took a step in that direction in this past offseason where he focused on his diet. He got in better shape. I thought he was more mobile in 2018 than he had been in the past. It's all related. And I think that if Roethlisberger can continue on that path, it's going to keep him healthy. And then it just comes down to how long do both of these aging quarterbacks want to play. Let's assume, for the sake of argument in this episode, that Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger are both going to play for the next 3 to 4 years. Seems kind of crazy, but Tom Brady is showing no signs of slowing down, and Ben Roethlisberger is coming off a 5,000-yard season. So he is obviously playing at a relatively high level. I understand the interceptions. That's not what we're talking about here, folks. Okay. Outside of that, then you get into the intricacies of the defense. You get into the intricacies of the coaching staff. And I don't think there's any way, shape, or form anyone in their right mind would suggest that the Steelers have the advantage in either of those categories. The Steelers' defense is not that type of defense, at least not right now. And their coaching staff has shown to have some serious liabilities when it comes to game planning, in-game preparation, and in-game adjustments. These are all things that Bill Belichick seems to thrive on. Bill Belichick's teams typically are extremely prepared. Bill Belichick's teams are usually very quick to adjust on the fly and really make the opposition have to sweat. These are not characteristics of a Mike Tomlin-led Pittsburgh Steelers team. Again, not bringing commentary into this, not bringing opinion. These are facts. If you disagree with these facts, you don't watch the Steelers and you don't watch the Patriots ever. You don't watch football because this is reality. So in other words, if the status quo remains the same, Brady's still there, Ben's still there, Belichick and Tomlin are in their sidecars alongside those quarterbacks. Who am I to suggest that anything is going to be different? Why would suddenly the Steelers, who could be without Antonio Brown, who are likely to be without Le'Veon Bell, who don't have Martavis Bryant anymore, no one does, in fact, how am I supposed to say that this team that could be stripped of so much talent is going to be able to best the Patriots, who seem to win with no-name players? Yes, they have Rob Gronkowski. Julian Edelman has become a player. Who in the heck knew of Chris Hogan before 2 or 3 years ago? Nobody did. He was a lacrosse player at Penn State. So what I'm saying is that if there's going to be an opportunity for number 7, you've got to lean towards the Patriots. And I hate saying that because if you would have asked me that the last 3 years, I'd say there's no doubt it's the Steelers because they have Bell, they have Brown, they have Ben, they've got the offensive line. They just seemed like they were trending in the right direction. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel like they're necessarily trending in that direction. I'm not saying they're trending downward. In what Mike Tomlin would say, he always says, I think his arrow is pointing up about a player's performance. I would say that right now, in my opinion, the Steelers are flatlined, and that could change quickly depending on the outcome of this whole Antonio Brown saga. So in the ultimate question of will the Patriots get number 7 before the Steelers do, and they would need 2 to do that, I just keep thinking that, my goodness, this team has been in the Super Bowl the last 3 years. They play in the worst division in the NFL. The Jets aren't going to be much better next year. The Bills aren't going to be much better next year. And the Dolphins are the Dolphins. And so I'm looking at these teams. I'm thinking, okay, so there's potential 5 of 6, at least, probably the worst wins right there. The Patriots are going to win their division. They're going to at least host a home game. They're probably going to be in the running for the number 1 seed to get a first round bye, and they're going to set themselves up for success. Meanwhile, the Steelers will be in a tough division because now you have Lamar Jackson. Cleveland Browns are better. The Bengals, although coming off a rough season, are still going to be a competitive team with players like AJ Green and Joe Mixon and Andy Dalton. The defense with Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap and all those players there, they're going to be competitive. It's not going to be gimme wins. And we all know what the Steelers do when they play crappy teams. They might win, but it's not pretty. It's never all right, we can rest some players in the fourth quarter because we took care of business. And heck, who would have thought they would have lose to Oakland this year? I guess what I'm trying to say is if I'm answering this question honestly, I would have to say that when I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd have to say that the Patriots have the edge here, even though they'd have to win 2 to get to 7. Because right now, although I do think the Steelers Super Bowl window is still open, and I said that in a previous episode, I don't necessarily think I can see the Steelers pulling it off anytime soon. Could they be in the Super Bowl, prepping for the Super Bowl right now this season? Absolutely. They were close to beating the Chiefs, even though that was a really high-scoring, crazy game. They beat the Patriots. I think they would have hung with almost anyone else in the AFC. They beat the Ravens. The Chargers game, we all know that could have gone down differently if a few things went, if Sean Davis doesn't try to decapitate Joe Hayden on what would have been an interception, if the penalty on the false start would have been called, if the block in the back on the punt return, I could go on and on. What I'm saying is that the Steelers can hang with all these teams, but until the Steelers, and here's the kicker for me, and this is kind of like the underlying factor here as I answered this question. Here's the kicker. Until the Steelers find a better sense of consistency in all 3 phases, and I'm talking about coaching, offense, and defense, those 3 phases, until the Steelers can put together more consistency in all 3 phases, they will never, in my opinion, be favored to win over the Patriots because that is the Patriots way. You want to talk about the Steelers way and all that stuff? The Patriots way is preparation, and they are so freaking consistent. It's not that they don't have duds, but my goodness, when they lose, you've got to really put your best foot forward. They don't just go into places like Oakland and other. They don't go to the Jets and lose. It might not be a blowout, but they take care of business. And so that's the thing for me. So if I'm answering the question, will the Patriots win number 7 before the Steelers? If I'm putting the odds down, the odds are certainly in the Patriots' favor, even though they have to win 2 more. Could that change? Absolutely. Could it change as early as next season? Sure. Depends on what the Steelers do. Do the Steelers bring back Antonio Brown? Are they able to go out in free agency and spend some money and actually get some players that can come in and play right away? Do they address the inside linebacker position for once and not pretend that Sean Spence and John Bostic are the answer there? Are they able to draft players that are able to come in and participate and be effective right away? They've done a decent job the last few years, but they need to find those guys in the first 1, 2, 3 rounds of the NFL draft that can play and that can play right away. Can they do all that? That's tough. Those are tough answers. And I think that's going to be what's going to need to happen if the Steelers are the ones that beat the Patriots to number 7, so to speak. I think right now we can all say that all of Steeler Nation is rooting for the Rams, hoping that we don't have to talk about the Patriots possibly getting to 7 before Pittsburgh. But this is a burning question that is on a lot of people's minds. They might not want to talk about it because it might be a little frightening to think about, but it's the truth. So what do you do now? Simple. If you're watching live on YouTube or if you're watching on YouTube in general, go into the comment section and let us know what you think. Do you think the Steelers will win number 7 first, or will it be the Patriots, and why? If you're listening in audio form, go to behindthesteelcurtain.com. You can find this article, which will be published on Thursday morning. Go to the comment section and let us know what you think. Will the Patriots be able to do it before the Steelers, or will the Steelers, who only need 1 to get to the stairway to 7, will they get it done? It'll be interesting to hear what you think. In the meantime, if you didn't know we had a YouTube channel, we do. Go to YouTube, search BTSC Steelers Radio. If you didn't know we're on audio platforms, we are. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all those. Find us, subscribe. We appreciate all the support, and make sure you give us all the help you can. Share with your friends. If you know people that like the Steelers, let them know about the podcast. We appreciate it. Until next time, next week, same time, same place for another Steelers burning question. I'm Jeff. Have a good one.